Football talk, real opinions, no filter. Welcome to Inside the NFL with Alec. On today's show, we will have a 2-round mock draft, as well as me talking about my thoughts on the Buccaneers hiring Zac Robinson as their new offensive coordinator. Without wasting any time, let's get right into the mock draft. Share screen, mock draft. At number 1, the Raiders. I think the obvious pick here is Fernando Mendoza. They need a quarterback, and we are going to give them Fernando Mendoza. The Jets at number 2 are going to go with, I really want to give them an edge rusher, but I'm going to try something a little bit different here. I'm going to go offensive lineman Francis Mayanoa out of Miami. They need to get help along that offensive line. I like Vera Tucker. I like Menboom. I like their offensive line, but I feel like they just need a couple more pieces along that offensive. Actually, no. We are not going offensive tackle. That is too early. I'm going to give them defensive line edge. I'm going to give them linebacker Arvell Reese out of Ohio State. They need somebody in that linebacker room, and Arvell Reese just fits Aaron Glenn defense. So give me Arvell Reese to the Jets at number 2. Number 3, this is where I have the first offensive lineman coming off the board. It is Francis Mayanoa to the Cardinals. They need Paris Johnson and Francis Mayanoa. That's a good tackle duo for the foreseeable future. And I feel like this is the spot. I know it says average draft position is 14 for Mayanoa, but I feel like he's going to 3. The Titans at 4 are going to take Ruben Bain Jr. out of Miami. They need help on defense, and Bain Jr. can give them that off the edge. They have Jeffrey Simmons, but they need another pass rusher, and a guy like Ruben Bain fits. The Giants at 5. They're going to take the first wide receiver off the board, and it is Carna. It is not going to be Jordan Tyson. And here's why. They don't want the injury problems that Jordan Tyson is going to bring. And I think that's why Jordan Tyson might fall in the draft. They need a guy that can run the route tree. And Carnell Tate fits that perfectly. So Carnell Tate to the Giants at 5. The Browns at 6 are going to take offensive lineman Spencer Fano out of Utah. The Browns need to, plain and simple, the Browns need to beef up that offensive line. And the only way to do it is by drafting offensive linemen. And they're going to take Spencer Fano. At 7, the Commanders are going to take the first defensive back off the board. And to me, that is Mansour Delane out of LSU. Jermon McCoy did not have a good Senior Bowl, and he's fallen down the board. And I am going to play it as if he's going to fall. And so Mansour Delane just feels like a Commanders defensive back to me. So give me Mansour Delane at 7 to the Commanders. The Saints at 8 are going to take defensive line, and I haven't done this for them. They're going to take D lineman Peter Woods out of Clemson. They need to get younger along that defensive line. Right now they've got Cam Jordan there, Carl Granderson, and both those guys are not young. They're both on the wrong side of 30. And Peter Woods, I feel like, fits the Saints defense, and he gets some juice in there, the young guy. Now, at number 9, the Chiefs. We could go two ways here. We could go with a pass rusher in either Cassius Howell or David Bailey, and David Bailey is just shooting up draft boards. Or we could go the less sexy pick, and that is running back Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, and that's where I'm going to go. The Chiefs need help in the running game. We can get them a pass rusher. We can get them a pass rusher or a wide receiver in the second round. But give me Jeremiah Love to the Chiefs. The Bengals at 10. Caleb Downs. The Bengals need help in the secondary at safety anywhere, and Caleb Downs is generational. There's no way Caleb Downs makes it outside the top 10. And if he falls past the Bengals, I would expect the Dolphins to pick him, but that's not going to happen in this case. Caleb Downs at number 10 to the Bengals. The Dolphins at 11. Quarterback, wide receiver, corner, guard. I am going to go with a defensive back here. It's not going to be Jermon McCoy. It'll be defensive back out of Clemson, Avion Terrell. Again, like I said a minute ago, Jermon McCoy to me, he might go in the first round, but it's not going to be in the top 10. Avion Terrell, with Jeff Hafley as the new offensive coordinator, head coach for the Dolphins, he's going to want to take defense, and they need to rebuild that defense. And Terrell fits. The Cowboys at 12. This is where I could see a guy like Sonny Styles going. The Cowboys need to work on that defense, and they need linebacker help. Demarion Overshown is good, but the rest of their linebackers are not particularly good. I could also see this being a spot where Jermon McCoy goes, but I'm going to go with the safer pick here and go Sonny Styles at 12. The Rams at 13 are going to take the second offensive lineman in this draft, and it's going to be Caleb Lomu out of Utah. It's plain and simple. The Rams need offensive line help. You could get quarterback later on in the first round, whether it be Ty Simpson or somebody else. But I'm going to go Caleb Lomu here. And Rams fans, you can let me know what you think, but I'm going Caleb Lomu. Ravens also need offensive line, and this guy's falling right into the lap. I'm going to go with a different pick here. I'm not going Vega Ayana out of Penn State. I'm going with the Oregon offensive guard, or Oregon guard, Emmanuel Pregnani to the Ravens here at 14. This guy's been shooting up draft boards. I've seen mock drafts where he goes in the first round, And I'm going to have him go in the first round here to the Ravens. I know you're going to think that's a reach, but the Ravens need help on the offensive line at guard and tackle. And Pregnon is going to fill in at guard. The Buccaneers at 15. I could go two different ways here with the Buccaneers. With their first pick in the draft at 15, I could go tight end and Kenyon Sadiq, or I could go edge because you're losing. Is there any good linebackers left? CJ Allen. CJ Allen, Anthony Hill. Anthony Hill's the guy that's kind of shooting up draft boards too. But I like CJ Allen a lot. This might be a little too early for a CJ Allen pick. With that being said, let's see. Oh, we can't offer trade. Never mind. So we're going to have to make the pick here. This normally would be a tight end spot for me. I'm going edge. David Bailey out of Texas Tech. I think this is the spot where he could go. And the Buccaneers need edge help. Kalijah Kancey's okay. They took David Walker last year, who was hurt the entire season. David Bailey could be that next great edge rusher for the Buccaneers. The Jets at 16. They have their choice of Mekhi Lemon and Jordan Tyson. We gave them Arvell Reese with their first pick. Am I going to double up on defense here? Or do I go offensive line? I think what we're going to do is we're going to go wide receiver here. And we're going to give the Jets wide receiver Mekhi Lemon out of USC. The Jets could get their quarterback in the second round, or they could sign one in free agency. But you need receivers. I mean, Garrett Wilson's good. Mason Taylor's good. But, I mean, you need a bona fide number 2 receiver, and I feel like Mekhi Lemon can turn into that. The Lions at 17 are going to take offensive linemen. Oh. Tackle, edge, corner, center. I'm going to give them Monroe Freeling out of Georgia. They took Tate Rutledge last year, but Taylor Decker's not getting any younger. And Monroe Freeling's a guy that's been soaring up draft boards. He feels like a Lions pick to me. The Vikings at 18. I'm going to have them go defensive back here. And I'm going to have them go my cornerback number 2, Keith Abney out of Arizona State. They need help in the secondary. DB's their number 3 need. I'm going to give them Keith Abney. Vikings fans, if you don't like the pick, let me know. The Panthers at 19. Is there any good linebackers left? I think there is. CJ Allen out of Georgia. CJ Allen to the Panthers at 19. Does it make sense? Absolutely. Christian Roseboom, they're going to lose a linebacker in free agency. They need to draft one. And CJ Allen feels like a Panther to me. So I'm going to have him go here at 19 to the Panthers. The Cowboys at 20. We gave them Sonny Styles. We're going to double up on the defensive side of the football. We're going to go defensive back here. But we're not going with Jermon McCoy. We are going to Brandon Cease out of South Carolina, defensive back. Watching the film on Brandon Cease, he's a guy that it's probably going to end up maybe going at the end of the first round, maybe mid-first round. And I feel like giving him to the Cowboys here, perfect fit. The Steelers at 21. Now, you could go Ty Simpson, or what I'm going to have them do is go tackle Caden Proctor out of Alabama. They need help on that offensive line. And if Rodgers comes back, Rodgers isn't getting any younger. So giving them a good offensive tackle, and you can get that wide receiver in the second round. The Chargers at 22. Defensive line. And there's some good defensive linemen left. Caleb Banks, Caden McDonald, Christian Miller, Lee Hunter, correction. I'm going to give them Caleb Banks out of Florida. I feel like Caleb Banks fits the mold of a defensive lineman and that the Chargers would want. They're going to lose a couple. They're going to lose Khalil Mack in free agency. They're going to lose, I believe, one other defensive lineman in free agency. So giving them Caleb Banks makes all the sense in the world. Now the Eagles at number 23. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to do it. Dallas Goedert's not getting any younger. Give me Kenyon, and this is something I'm exploring. If somehow Kenyon Sadiq makes it past pick 20, I could see the Eagles going after him. So give me Kenyon Sadiq to the Eagles at 23. It just makes sense. Dallas Goedert, like I said, is not getting any younger, and they might be trading either A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. So Kenyon Sadiq to the Eagles. The Browns at 24 are going to take wide receiver Casey Concepcion out of Texas A&M. I like this pick. We gave them offensive tackle Spencer Fano with their first pick in the first round. Now we're giving them a wide receiver to maybe pair with Shadur Sanders and new head coach Todd Monken. The Bears need linebacker, DB, and safety. Is there any other safeties I can see? Thieneman. That's too early for safety. Linebackers? Who do we got left at linebacker? Anthony Hill Jr., Deontay Lawson. I'm going to do it. Anthony Hill Jr. to the Bears at 25. This is a little early for him, but I could see him going toward the back half of the first round. The Bears need linebacker. Safety is a little bit bare right now. No pun intended. So give me Anthony Hill Jr. to the Bears at 25. At 26, the Bills are going to take wide receiver. I think this is where the fall of Jordan Tyson ends. The Bills need playmakers for Josh Allen. So give me Jordan Tyson to the Bills at 26. It feels right. The 49ers at 27. Offensive tackle. Nope. Let's see. Any interior guys? Aha. Vega always still on the board here at 27. And that feels like a Niners pick to me. You can put him at guard. And then if you want to, once Trent Williams retires, slide him over to tackle. Vega Ione to the 49ers at 27. The Texans at 28 are also going to take an offensive lineman. see, what does the interior guys look like? I've seen. Here's another tackle that's going to go in the first round that you can move to guard. Max Hinahocher. Max Hina Chor. Max Hinachor here at 28 out of Arizona State tackle. I've seen him just shooting up boards, and somebody's going to be desperate to take him in the first round. And here it's the Texans. The Rams at 29 are going to take quarterback Ty Simpson out of Alabama to sit behind Matthew Stafford for a year or two to learn. And I think that's the smart choice. The Broncos at number 30. Linebacker is a need, but the linebackers, that's probably going to have to wait. Tight end, I'm going to do it. Deontay Lawson out of Alabama going here at number 30 to the Broncos. They need linebackers. They need linebacker help. And I'm going to give them Deontay Lawson. Patriots are going to take why did I click on edge? Linebacker. We need edge. There's a couple edge rushers left here in the first round. Cassius Howell, Kedrick Folk, TJ Parker, Akeem. I'm going to have him take Akeem Mezzador out of Miami. He feels like he fits the Mike Vrabel system. Akeem Mezzador to the Patriots. The Seahawks. This is, I believe, where one of the two Tennessee corners goes. And it's not going to be Jermon McCoy. He will fall outside the first round in this mock draft. Colton Hood to the Seahawks at 31. He goes at the end, 32, correction. He goes at the end of the first round. Start the second round here. And the Jets, we gave them Arbor Reese and Mekhi Lemon with their first two picks. This is where I think the fall of Jermon McCoy finally ends. The Jets take him at 33. And we have, the Cardinals. Are going to take interior offensive lineman, guard Chase Besantis out of Texas A&M. He's another guy that's been shooting up boards. I've seen him go in the beginning to middle of the second round. And we have already given the Cardinals. Oh, no, we already gave them an offensive lineman. Why don't we work on another side of the ball for them? Why don't we work on the defense? I said Besantis, but I am second guessing that pick. Time of making it. I'm actually going to give them, and this is a non-sexy pick, I'm going to give them wide receiver Jeremy Bernard out of Alabama. They need, Marvin Harrison's a good number one. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a good number one receiver. You have Michael Wilson, who's a good slot guy / number two. But you need a third receiver. And Jeremy Bernard could eventually be that number two receiver that the Cardinals have been looking for. So give me Jeremy Bernard to the Cardinals here at 34. At 35, the Titans. We are going to give them guard Chase Besantis out of Texas A&M. They need help on that offensive line. It's clear as day. And I think giving them Basantis is the correct move here. So Chase Basantis to the Titans at 35. The Raiders at 36. I am going to give them wide receiver Omar Cooper Jr. out of Indiana. Omar Cooper Jr. just feels like a Raider. And you gave Bernardo Mendoza gets one of his targets from Indiana. The Giants. I'm going to go defense here. And I'm going to go Chris Johnson Jr. Chris Johnson, defensive back out of San Diego State. A guy that some people have going in the first round. To me, he's a day 2 pick. So give me Chris Johnson Jr. to the Giants. And because the Giants need help on defense. We gave the Texans tackle an offensive lineman in the first round. I'm going to give them edge rusher Kedrick Folk here in the second round out of Auburn. Kedrick Folk fell out of the first round because not a lot of people were taking edge. So here he goes in the second round, and this is value for the Texans. The Browns, we gave them Casey Concepcion and Specifano in the first round. So we gave them 2 offensive guys. I know they don't really need defense, but I'm going to do this with I'm going to give them defensive lineman Caden McDonald out of Ohio State. He's good he's good stuff in the run. And if you can develop him into a somewhat decent pass rusher, I think you found yourself value here in the second round at pick 39. So, Caden McDonald, welcome to Cleveland. Kansas City. I said we took Jeremiah Love in the first round. I said I was going to circle back and give you defense. And I am. Look who's still on the board. Cassius Howell. Cassius Howell was supposed to go in the top 20. He fell outside the first round. So give me Cassius Howell here at pick 40 to the Chiefs. The Chiefs need help on the pass rush. Chris Jones is not getting any younger. Who is the George Karlaftis is going into a contract year. So I'm going to take Cassius Howell. The Bengals at number 41. We gave them safety Caleb Downs. I'm going to give them defensive lineman Christian Miller out of Georgia. They need to Trey Hendrickson's probably gone, so they're going to need somebody to replace him on the defensive line. And Christian Miller, to me, fits the defense for the Bengals. The Saints at 42, we gave him Peter Woods. Now I'm going to go offense, and I'm going to get a weapon here for Tyler Shuck. It is Washington wide receiver Denzel Boston. I like Chris Olave. Yeah, I mean, you could go tight end here, but there's not really any tight ends I see going in the second round of the draft. So, and you can't let Denzel Boston fall into Miami's lap. So give me Denzel Boston here at 41, 42 to the Saints. The do I like any of the guys here on the board right now? Edge, corner. This might be a spot For defensive back, Keontae Scott out of Miami. I'm looking at it. I don't like the guards that are available. The wide receivers, since Denzel Boston just went, I think this is a spot for Keontae Scott out of Miami. So I'm going to take Keontae Scott, cornerback out of Miami, to stay in the state of Miami, the city of Miami, and go to the Dolphins here at number 43. The Jets. First 3 picks, we've taken linebacker Arvell Reese, wide receiver Mekhi Lemon, and cornerback Jamon McCoy. Is one of their needs edge? It is not. It's defensive line. I'm going to give them defensive lineman. And you see, this is right around the range they think he might go. I'm going to give him Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech. They need to get more pressure on the quarterback. Jermaine Johnson led the team in sacks with 8 last year. That's embarrassing. And their pass rush win rate percentage was not good. Lee Hunter can fix that. The Ravens are going to take, they don't need the defensive line. I'm going to give him edge TJ Parker out of Clemson. We gave him an offensive lineman in the first round. We gave him Emmanuel Pregnani out of Oregon. Now here in the second round, we're going to give him TJ Parker edge out of Clemson. This is too far of a fall for TJ Parker. And I feel like the Ravens, this would help their pass rush. The Buccaneers at 46. Now, can I justify taking... Yeah, oh, I see something here that I like. Eli Stowers. Cade Otton's going to be a free agent. You need to get another weapon for Baker Mayfield. First round, we take David Bailey. I'm going to take Eli Stowers out of Vanderbilt here. Like I said, Cade Otton's going to be a free agent. You need another weapon for Baker Mayfield. Mike Evans might be gone. You would think about looking at receiver here, but I like the tight end. The Colts. Let's see. What do we got at D-line for the second round? D-line. Yeah, there's Bear right now in the second round at defensive line. I'm going to give him an edge. The Colts need help with their pass rush. I'm going to give him R. Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma. R. Mason Thomas just feels like a Colts edge rusher to me. And I like getting him here at 47. The Falcons at number 48. Wide receiver, tight end, defensive line, corner. Again, defensive line is thin. I would have them take edge here, but there's no point because they do need corner. D'Angelo Pons out of Indiana here at 48 to the Falcons. It feels like the right pick, and I can see it happening. The Vikings are going to take edge Gabe Yakis out of Illinois. They need to get pressure on the quarterback, and if you can't get pressure, you're not going to win very many games. So give me Gabe Yakis Illinois fans, I'm probably butchering it. Let me know how it's pronounced. But Gabe Yakis out of Illinois to the Vikings here at 49. Nope. The Lions at number 50. What do we got cornerback wise? What did we give him in the first round? We gave him Monroe Freeling, a tackle. I'm going to give him not Zion Young. I do think Zion Young is his second round pick. Just not the Lions. Corners. England Ever, Will Lee, Xavier Scott, Malik Muhammad. I'm going to go, and this might seem like something, and I will be putting out my big board soon for all positions. And Chandler Rivers, I'm going to spoil it right now. Chandler Rivers will be one of my top cornerbacks. So Chandler Rivers is going to go here to the Lions at actually edge is available. If there's some good edge rushers, Zion Young, LT Overton, I am going to go Zion Young to the Lions here at 50. And I like the pick. He's been rising up draft boards. Give me Zion Young here at number 50 to the Lions. The Panthers are going to go. Their first pick was linebacker CJ Allen. And I think what we're going to do here is we will give them another defensive player. And we're going to go linebacker. We're going to go defensive lineman. I don't want to go too. We're going to give him edge rusher Joshua Josephs out of Tennessee. Some people had Josephs early on going in the first round. He's a second round pick to me, and I think he would fit perfectly in Carolina. Now, we are going to go to Green Bay, and I'm going to give him tackle Caleb Tiernan out of Northwestern. They need offensive line help, and tackle has been an issue for them. So I'm going to give them Caleb Tiernan out of Northwestern. The Steelers at 53. Is there any quarterbacks I could justify taking here? Garrett Nussmeier, to me, I've seen people say since the Senior Bowl, he's a day 2, day 3 pick. I agree. And Steelers fans might disagree with this. You don't know if Aaron Rodgers is coming back. And we gave you tackle Caden Proctor in the first round. I'm going to give you Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU. Now, if you did get Aaron Rodgers back, that's one more year of Aaron Rodgers. And you need somebody behind him. And I feel like Garrett Nussmeier could be the perfect fit there. Have him sit a year. And then he starts next year. The Eagles. What did we give you in the first round? Tight end Kenyon Sadiq. So here in the second round, we're going to give you edge rusher. Because your edge room is not getting any younger. We're going to give you Romello Height out of Texas Tech. The third defensive player from Texas Tech to go in the first 2 rounds. The Chargers At number 55 are going to take. I don't think there's any other offensive linemen that I can see going here. I'm actually going to give them the Chargers. I'm going to give them Chandler Rivers out of Duke. They need corner, and I feel like this is perfect space, and this is a perfect spot for Chandler Rivers. The Jags at number 56. They did not have a first round pick because of the Travis Hunter trade. I'm going to give them safety Emmanuel McNeil Warren out of Toledo. I feel like that's the one spot on their defense that they need help. The Bears at number 57 are going to take safety Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon. I really like this pick for them, and I feel like he fits a need. 49ers are going to take another safety, maybe. Let's see, what do we got? Yes, they are. The 49ers at 58 are going to take safety Kamari Ramsey out of USC. They need to get younger on that defense. They're not getting. They have a lot of older guys on defense right now, and Kamari Ramsey helps them get younger. At number 59. The what is it? The Texans at 59 are going to take defensive lineman Dante Cullarini out of Cincinnati. They need to get more guys in that defensive line room, and Cullary fits that. The Bills at number 60 are going to take linebacker Jake Golday out of Cincinnati. They need to get linebacker help, and I haven't done this for them in a mock draft yet, but I really like Jake Golday going to the Bills. 61, the Rams. I'm going to have them take Chris Bell out of Louisville. Devontae Adams might not be back next year. Puka Nacua is the number one, but you have nobody behind him if Devontae Adams does not come back. The Rams took Chris Bell. 62. The Broncos are going to take linebacker Josiah Trotter out of Missouri. They need, unless I gave him a linebacker in the first round. Oh, I did. I gave him Deontay Lawson. So that pick is gone. I'm going to give him, and this is not a sexy pick, but I'm going to give them edge rusher Derek Moore out of Michigan. I feel like they need the reason they didn't make it past the AFC Championship game against the Patriots was their pass rush. And many Broncos fans will agree with that. So Derek Moore, welcome to the Broncos. 63, the Patriots. And you see a lot of good guys left I'm going to give the Patriots linebacker Josiah Trotter out of Missouri. They need help at linebacker, and we might see a mini run here on linebacker. So Josiah Trotter and the Seahawks are going to take the last pick of this mock draft, and they're going to use it on not a linebacker. They're going to use it on cornerback Daylon Everett out of Georgia. They need secondary help. And in the first round, we gave them, oh no, never mind. We are not giving them that. I'm going in a different direction here. I haven't done this with them yet. I think I'm going to do it now. Where's Jadarian? I'm going to give him Jadarian Price out of Notre Dame, the other Notre Dame running back, because they're losing. They might be losing Kenneth Walker to free agency and Zach Charbonnet towards ACL. So Zach Charbonnet might not be ready next season for the season next year. So give me Jadarian Price to the Seahawks at 64. And that wraps up the mock draft. Now, here's my thoughts on the Buccaneers hiring Zac Robinson as offensive coordinator. I like the hire, and I like that he brung over a couple of position coaches with him to the Buccaneers. And maybe this means they get Kyle Pitts and they don't have to draft tight end. I would much rather them re-sign Kate Otten if they can. If they can't and they have to go tight end, I like Kenyon Sadiq, but I feel like you could wait till the second or third round, maybe the third round of the draft, and take one there. But Zac Robinson hasn't had the litany of weapons that he's going to have in Tampa with Mike Evans, hopefully, Chris Godwin, Emeka Buka, Tess Johnson, Bucky Irving. Maybe Rachaad White comes back. I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up today's episode of Inside the NFL with host Alec Pecano. I will see everybody back here tomorrow afternoon at 5:30 for an episode of Saturday Night Lights Hockey with Bradley and me. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday afternoon.